can get everyone back to their seats. I'm going to call this city council meeting to order. There we go. Got to use the oysters. The oysters. It was the oysters.
Those are baby mama oysters.
That's the beginning of my garden.
Don't get in between a woman and her garden.
Might be a little too much information.
All righty. With that, I appreciate the CRA meeting. You guys did a great job. We'll call this meeting to order. Invocation by our one and only Pastor David J. Butler.
Would you bow your heads with me, please? Heavenly Father, we thank you for the outstanding city council that we have assembled here tonight. We thank you for the interest being that of the citizens of our community and no self-interest. We thank you, Lord, for the beauty that you have created. We thank you for the beautiful sunsets that we are witnessing each evening, beautiful sunrises. Father, we just thank you and ask that your protection be upon each one who come and visit our beautiful city, as well as our citizens who have chosen to live here. And now we do the blessing, Lord, found in Numbers chapter 6, and it is this. Now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he give you his peace. May you be blessed in your coming in and going out. This we pray in Christ Jesus our Lord's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir, for that. Councilwoman Aber with the pledge, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Everyone join me with your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you guys for that. Before we get into the agenda approval, do we have any substitutions, amendments, reconsiderations? Yes.
I'd like to remove the nomination from under my name. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Anything else?
I'd like to, I don't know if I need it or not, but I want to pull 3A, please.
3A. All right. Death and fire. Thank you, sir. Anything else? All right. Seeing none, with those amendments, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. I have my second. All right. Seeing no further discussion, we'll call the vote.
Gotta take a verbal.
Oh, verbal?
It ain't working.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna let Andy fix it.
All right, we'll go verbal while Andy's knocking it out. Council, oh, you're up? All right, we'll start on our side over here. Councilman Guile.
Yes.
Aber.
Yes.
Councilman Bagley. Yes.
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 All right, thank you for that. 6-0, so moved. All right, with that, up first, without any proclamations, we'll get into public comments. If anyone here has wished to speak, yes, sir. You just need your name and address. Push that gray button. The light will stay on, so you don't need to hold it.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, I can see it works. Okay, my name is Cameron. I'm from Indian Bayou North. Just kind of came here to say that, well, it's actually a shout out for the DSA members, or Pensacola DSA. They come make a public comment when they're making observations at city council and county council meetings. And shout out to Chiara for organizing, was it a city council watch? And yeah, I also wanted to make a comment. I did go to Pensacola City Council meeting to comment on the Baptist Hospital land and stand in solidarity for the working class of Pensacola. I mean, that was actually hard. I had to get my nerves up just to public speak there too. I guess the last thing I'll probably just touch on is that I want the city council to consider doing a tool library, which is just like a regular library, but for tools, and that the city or the citizens of Destin can rent out tools that they can just use for like one-time use instead of having to go to Lowe's and buy it all. Yeah, and I'll just say thank you for your time.
All right. Cool idea. All right, anyone else? Seeing none?
Hi, my name is Ricky Landgrand Jr., 175 Main Street, Destin, Florida, 32541, general delivery. And it seems I'm famous on C-SPAN now, so I kind of like doing this. Hopefully it metamorphosizes into all of my dreams coming true and everybody in the community being lifted by the spirit of goodness. So I wish you guys all well. And I've really enjoyed my time here with the council. And I hope I find my place, in Destin, as, on the sea, I guess, fishing, and can spend my time, making dreams come true. I look forward to working with people. I'm trying to get my license back so I can drive my big truck, or I don't know, what they had a land yacht in the magazine. I might try to drive that, or maybe a chopper, counts custom. But no, I hope that people can work with me, because I think everybody is a tremendous help, and everybody works really hard, and I hope that everybody keeps their vision to the sky. With that being said, I kind of just wait my turn, and I shouldn't, I feel like everybody does a good job, so hopefully they can, accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, and then I can just move on. I'm trying to fit into the backdrop of the sunset, I guess, and all that horizon. But yeah, I guess I got a $7,800 ticket in Leon County that I'm trying to pay and get my license. And I don't know, I'm trying to, be involved with the community, I guess, to give back. And I took some notes here, I guess, with the state law and the council and the division of labor. But I guess I got 48 seconds left. I don't know what to say, I'm gonna keep trying to, I guess, spread my wings and fly around out there. There really ain't nothing else to do but fly around. And I wish I could sit up there or something with y'all, or I don't know. I got a lot to do, I guess, with the boat or whatever, and the $10 million boat. And then I talked to my bankers, so I'm trying to get all my bankers in place with the FHA and conventional loans, the cash money deals. I just want all my people to kind of just be happy so they can continue focusing on what they got. People can't get along. I don't want nobody to get hurt, so I'm always like, you go, you do it, and I will support you. I will give you the shirt off my back. So you get what you need, then y'all can give me what I need, I guess. I don't know.
As always, appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir. I may stick around for a little while, too, maybe just listen.
Yeah, come on. All right, anyone else?
Hello, John Stevens, 4025 Indian Trail. I just wanted to let y'all know this upcoming Thursday is the Okaloosa County's annual water safety meeting. It's going to be at the Destin Fort Walton Beach Convention Center from 12:30 to 4:30. I'm asking if council can see if code compliance can email all of the livery operators in Destin to make sure that they attend this, because since we have our own ordinance, we're not required to attend it. So that's all I ask. Thanks.
Thank you so much. All right, with seeing no other public comments, we'll close that and we'll get into the consent agenda. We got A, we'll do A first, and then we'll run into B. So Councilman Braden, anything particular you want to bring to the floor for pulling it?
Yeah, I just want a little clarification. I know we fund money, give money to the fire department. I don't know, it was $100,000 a year. I don't know what it is now, maybe more, for the lifeguards out there on the beach. And I guess we also pay for the sheriff's department to be out there. And my question is if we're paying for lifeguards to be there and the fire department, sheriff's department to be there, when somebody's drowning are in trouble, they go out into that water to assist them, then how is it, I mean, that seems to be okay, but how is it when people are out there vending in that water, in ankle-deep water, we have no jurisdiction, we can't do anything about it? I mean, it just seems like if somebody's drowning, we need to call the state and say, hey, you got somebody down here drowning, you might want to send somebody. Why are we paying for that, to go out into that water to protect people? Seems like we're picking and choosing. So can anybody explain that?
Yeah. Yeah, Larry, if you want to address.
I don't have a good answer, because, I mean, it's a valid point, I suppose, if it's their jurisdiction, but I think we probably have a responsibility to our citizens to offer the protections that we can, and it's certainly at council's discretion whether to fund these operations or not. I know that historically you have, and whether you continue to do so in the future is certainly at your discretion.
I understand, I hear what you're saying about we have a duty to save these people, but we had the lady that was up here selling ice cream, and we told her she needed to be in the water, and she was in the ankle-deep water and got stung by a stingray. And then we hear on the news that ankle-deep water can sweep people off their feet. You know, we got rough water, whatever, can't be in it. So, again, are we luring these kids out into the water to buy ice cream now? And then when they get swept off their feet or get stung, are we liable for that? Or, I mean, it just seems like we're picking and choosing. So maybe Jim's got a better answer.
Yep, that's where I was going next. Councilman Bagby?
Thank you, Mayor. We are a brand, and our brand is Destin. And when people say Destin, whether they are in Atlanta or Washington, D.C.
Jim, I'm sorry, buddy. I appreciate it, but that's not my question. I understand what you're saying, that we're bringing them all here and spending a bunch of money. We have to protect these people, but we're not protecting them when we're luring them out into the water to either get shark bit, step on a jellyfish, whatever. So that's my question, is why are we saving these people drowning, but we're luring, it's okay for us to lure them out into the water to sell ice cream or whatever they're selling? So where's the difference
Those are two
lie?
separate issues. The ice cream and the luring them out in the water, two separate issues in my mind. And I would ask you to go back to our vision. This is our vision. This is what we approved. Destin is a family-oriented beach and fishing community. So if we want you to come here for the beach, that includes the beach activities. And the beach activities include walking along the beach, playing in the water, swimming in the water, probably not surfing, we don't have big waves like some places, but beach and fishing community where people want to live, work, and play. And where visitors are welcome to respectfully enjoy our community and its resources. And that is one of our resources. That is our vision. That's what we say we want to be. And we want people to come here to go play in the Gulf or to go fishing or to, that's what we say. So we try to make that safe as we can. And so when you go to our strategic goals, number 2, enhance quality of life and safety for families. Those expenditures, and it's $282,000. We raised it last year or year before last, I can't remember. Because it was $100,000 for like 17 years or something. So that's why we encourage them. Now, to your point on the ice cream, I agree with you. And I will even make the motion that we pull this for one meeting to allow the staff to go back, because what I asked them today, 2 things. Was it 2 things, guys, or 3 things? Number 1, can we use the lifeguards as scouts? And what I explained to the staff was, I don't want them going out there saying to vendors, hey, you can't sell here, or to people digging holes, hey, you can't dig this hole or you have to fill it in before you leave. I don't want them saying, you can't walk your dog on the beach. What I want them to do is call our code enforcement or whatever number or person that Larry designates and say, hey, I'm down at June Decker and I got somebody pulling a wagon along with ice cream that I don't think should be here. I don't want them to be the bad guy. The lifeguards are the good folks. And then I want that person, our code person or our whatever person, to go there and go, yep, sir, you can't sell ice cream on this beach. Or, hey, kids, just remember, make sure you fill in that hole before you go home tonight. Somebody with, some aura of authority. I want them to say, hey, you can't, now if they're out, if it's double red and they're out in the water and they're not tethered to the surfboard, you can call Larry's person, but Larry's person better be calling the sheriff's deputy because that's not our job. That's the sheriff's deputy to go out there and say, the water is closed. State law says the water is closed. Get out or I will haul your rear end to jail. So there are different things. So I want them to see if they can be the scouts, not to be the bad people, but to help us out and help us enforce our stuff. And then I asked them to check and see if we have a force majeure incident that is longer than 7 days, where the beach is closed longer than 7 days, can we get a pro rata reimbursement for that period of time? Not, oh gosh, it rained 2 days in a row and nobody was out on the beach and the lifeguards didn't even go out there. I'm talking about the beach is closed because we had a storm come through and we got debris everywhere. Why are we paying these people to be out there? Now, we probably won't get that one, but I think we can get the first one. And so they will help us hopefully do what we say we want to do.
I agree that we bring people here for the beach, and we need to protect them, if they drown. But if your grandchild walks out in knee-deep water to buy a net or whatever they're selling on that cart and trips and falls and drowns, or anybody has cramps up because they're dehydrated, falls in the water and drowns, why is our lifeguards responsible for that person then? I mean, somebody else lured them out into the water. We've allowed, or not we've allowed, but people to get in the water and sell stuff. We found out that, tell me if I need to quit.
Maybe I'm going to jump in.
Yeah,
First, some of these issues are the subject of litigation
Right.
when you're dealing with the vending. So we probably need to think about that. And the other thing that I'll just add is we aren't luring anybody into the water. We're saying there is no vending on the beaches in Destin. You are prohibited from vending on the beach. And then some people or entities try to circumvent that rule, so they try to go outside of our jurisdiction. But other than that, I'll just say this is the subject of litigation, so maybe we can talk about it outside of the meeting, if you don't mind.
With the, Jim, was that a motion that you were calling?
Yes, I will make the motion that we put this on the agenda, this item on the agenda at the next regularly scheduled meeting. Give staff the time to go see if
What
they,
item? Which item exactly?
3A, that's the one we're talking about.
Contract.
Yes.
Talking about some sub-items, so I didn't know what you meant, just 3A.
Oh,
Getting the
no,
lifeguards to help us with 3
Yeah.
areas.
Scouts,
Yeah.
help us be our scouts or be our lookers or just a reporting authority.
And
We can do that, yes, sir.
Okay,
possibly some prayer.
that's my motion.
All right, there's a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Further discussions, final thoughts?
If that's the motion, yeah.
Okay.
I usually agree with Mr. Bagby on this one. Those are employees of the Destin Fire Control District, not ours. We are giving the money to help defray the cost. And just so we all understand, I think it's 288,000 instead of the 100 we usually give. What?
282, I believe is the
Close.
number. Close.
And so it is more money, but I think the district fire district people will tell you that they want those people's sole attention to be out in that water, watching for folks who are trying to drown. And I just don't think it's appropriate for us to ask them to do another task that will distract them from that job.
All right, thank you for that. Any other discussions? All right, seeing none, we'll call the vote. All right, as I have it, 5-1, so moved. All right, and then with that, the following consent agenda is only B, but with that,
I move to approve the consent agenda, item B.
all right. Mayor,
Second.
any discussions? Seeing none, we'll vote on the following consent. Ray, you got that? Roll call. All right, Councilman Brady.
Yes.
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 All right, ayes have it, so moved unanimously 6-0 on 3B. With that, Boss Man Larry Jones.
And I'm going to defer to council on 4A, the Hayes request for lien reduction at 3861 Indian Trail number 102.
Thank you, City Manager. Mr. Hayes, are you present in the room for the lien reduction? Okay. Okay. If you would like to come up here so that you can speak in just a moment, I'll just introduce this to council really quick. So I'm going to pass out to you, council, our ordinance relating to lien reduction requests. As you know, it's in section 1486 and 1487 of the code. Thank you, Mayor. So this request comes from the property owners at 3861 Indian Trail, number 102. This case involves a lien on the Hayes home and residence. As of January 12th, 2026, code compliance staff informed the property owner that the lien in the case was outstanding in the amount of $17,700 for 334 days approximately of noncompliance at $50 a day and $1,000 of administrative fines. Those fines are the result of code enforcement hearings. There were 2 hearings for this case at $500 apiece. As I understand it from the property owner, they are preparing for sale of the subject property, which is their home. I believe the closing is set for February 2nd, but they can correct me if I'm wrong. Ms. Hayes, do you want to come up and make your request formally to the City Council? Okay, and I'll also just note that the email we received for the request is also in your packet. If you could just push
Hit that gray button, yep. All right, thank you.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to ask you all to relieve the fines that were imposed upon us. I'm going to give you a little bit of background. Back in late 23, early 24, my grandmother, who lived in Kentucky, we had to bring her down here to move in the home with us. The townhouse that we live in currently is three stories. We were going to put on the 3rd story. That's just where the other bedroom was. My husband should have looked into it more. He didn't. We needed a staircase on the back of the house for egress for my grandmother. Long story short, neighbors complained. They turned us into the city because he did not obtain a permit. He did try to. At the time, the system is, I think it's your current system you have, it's very confusing, and it's hard for a common person like us to try to figure out. He did come to City Hall and try to get it figured out, I think, with Noel. We just couldn't get it together, and they ended up having a special meeting. The magistrate asked us to take it down, and we did. We were given 60 days to do that. Within the 60-day time frame, the stairs were down and everything was brought back to whole again, as we were asked to do. We did not know that. We knew they opposed the 2 $500 fees to us, but we didn't know that not paying those at the time, that we were going to incur $50 a day for 360-something days. We didn't know that, or I didn't know that, as my husband says he didn't see that anywhere in the paperwork. In the meantime, my grandmother did pass away, and this is now early 24. Me and my husband both lost our jobs within 2 months of each other. So financially, we were ruined. We had to file bankruptcy. So we couldn't have paid the fine even if we wanted to. We just didn't have it. We were trying to, make our way to get food on the table for our family. The good Lord above has restored us. He is putting us, we're climbing our way back up to the top. We're trying to sell our home. And if we can't get the fees taken care of, we're going to owe money, which we can't pay when we sell the home, and that we're at risk for the home going into foreclosure. Sorry, I get upset. I just ask that you all please take in consideration to take some of those fees off, or at least the fine of the $50 so that we can sell our home, and then we can move on and restore ourselves and get back to where we were when all this first started. I thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. All right, with that, does anyone have anything they'd like to jump in with?
I'd like to make a motion, we ask the plaintiff to pay just the administrative fees, maybe a 10% of what the 17,000, make it 1,700 and call it.
So is your motion 1,700 total or 10% plus the 1,000 fee?
1,700 total.
Total. Thank you for clarifying.
All right, so that is a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it so we have a discussion.
All right, thank you, Councilman Destin. With that, we have our motion and second. Do you want to continue the discussion?
I did.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
The last time we had one of these in front of us, we gave direction that these continuing fines there should be some notice, and we suggested the notice should be by the way you are noticed on a court hearing by special service. Did that happen in this case?
This was before that happened, so no.
Okay, well, then the facts are the same as the last one. There was no real notice that we know for sure.
There were hearings with notice. In fact, the respondents did attend, so they had notice. However, one of the issues that was articulated by the property owner is that it wasn't clear to them, they're saying, that in the order, compliance didn't just mean getting the permit. It also meant you had to pay the fees. And so since the fees weren't paid, part of the reason the lien kept accruing was that technically they weren't in full compliance. So the $50 a day kept going. And if I've misstated anything, Ms. Hayes, please feel free to correct me. But that was part of the issue. And I don't know why staff didn't reach out about the $1,000 or if they even did, but it was prior to your directive.
How many more of these do we have hanging out that,
Oh, this isn't an exact number, but I believe it's around 20 older liens.
and should we notify?
We
those?
actually met about it, and we are working on those notifications. And in fact, there's a couple of hearings coming up where we talked about calling the property owners before they even came in for a hearing to make sure they understood the process and things like that. So changes are underway.
Okay.
Councilman Braden?
Thanks. In my agenda briefing, I was told a completely different story than what I just heard. That there was a structure built and the structure wasn't taken down, and there was another structure built and the structure's still there today. And they had hired a contractor or talked to a contractor about taking the structure down or getting into compliance, so.
That's a separate issue, but that is relevant. So there's a lien, and what we talked about is what's relevant to the lien case. There's a separate case from that that has nothing to do with the lien, because it wasn't a part of that case. It happened subsequently. So now there was another violation, which they are working with staff to comply with, but it's not in compliance yet. That's the one we talked about at your agenda briefing as being a separate but relevant issue. So there is another unpermitted structure on the site. It's the second-story balcony that was enclosed in with a roof. The building official has said this is a problem because there's not emergency access, plus it wasn't built to code, so to comply, they can remove that. That hasn't gone to a hearing at the magistrate yet because I'm told they're in the process of taking it down before they sell the property. We've also notified the title company so that the buyer would be aware of potentially purchasing property with that issue, but hopefully it's resolved within the next few days. And they also had some junk in the yard that they're in the process of cleaning up, which was a part of that separate violation.
So there was multiple violations, not just this one set of stairs that was built and that was taken down and that was it. So in the magistrate, does the magistrate, when you go to the magistrate, do they, I mean, I know you paid the $500, do they not make it perfectly clear that if it's not cleaned up or whatever by a certain date, you're gonna start receiving a $50 a day, $100 a day penalties?
Yes, they do.
So me as a homeowner, if I was told that and I thought I was in compliance, I think I would call the city and make sure and get something in writing that I'm in compliance and these fees are no longer accruing on my property. But I don't know. I got a real hard time with this one because there's just multiple violations and they seem like they got one and then they just did another one. And we've got these, I mean, since I've been up here, we might as well do away with this. Just throw this in the garbage because it's, I mean, we never use it. We find people and then they come here and they sing a story. And I mean, people tell me, you know, we need to have compassion, but using somebody's death, that's just a pet peeve of mine. Don't come up here and tell me that somebody's died. This is why this has all happened. You know, please don't, you know, take all these fees away. So if that's what we're going to continue to do, which we've been doing, we might as well throw this whole thing in the garbage and not fine people, not even take them to a magistrate. Get rid of the magistrate altogether because we're not using it. We spend that time, the staff spends their time going to it. We pay the attorney to show up at these things and then to come to council and give us a sob story and want to just, you know, throw it all away. I mean, we did, what was it, $600,000 and council agreed for $30,000 or $50,000 or something crazy, but I don't know. If we're going to continue to do it, let's just do away with the whole magistrate system and all that all together.
Okay. Councilman Bagby.
So, three things. I agree with Mr. Braden. If this process doesn't work, then let's change this process because we went through a lot of work to come up with a process and we have not followed it a single solitary time. So if you want to say give them 90%, I don't care, but we need to come to an agreement that we have rules because the staff is the one that has to advise these folks, hey, you can come to council. This is what our process is. This is what, you know, they have done in the past. They have said you get 30% reduction if it's less than a year, which would be $5,000 or something for this case. There is an additional violation, and I understand that. And I would like just to make sure that we're clear that you're committing that additional violation will be removed and corrected prior to closing on February 2nd.
Yes, actually, the current violation that you're speaking of, the roof that's
Right.
over the deck, okay, that was actually done before the staircase was done. And we were trying to get a permit for it as well. Like I said, the system that's used to get the permit is so confusing. I couldn't figure it out, so my husband tried to figure it out. He came down and talked to, I believe it's Noel, I don't remember know her last name is, I apologize, and tried to get that worked out with her as well. Basically what has happened is with everything that's gone on, and I think we have some neighboring people that are around us that are in other people's ear because they don't like the look of it or whatever the case was. But when we come down here to City Hall for the permits, we don't feel welcomed. We feel like we're looked upon as if we're, you know, idiots. Noelle actually even tore up one of the applications that my husband brought in. She said it was bad, you know, this is not gonna work. So we're intimidated to come down here anymore now. But the staircase was built after that. And respectfully to you, sir, I would never come in here and use someone's death as to try to get sympathy for someone. I was just letting you all know that my grandmother's not in the home with us anymore. She did pass away. But respectively, we just, my husband made some bad choices. He should have looked into it more. He should have figured out what needed to be done and do it the right way. We were on a time crunch. You know, we had my grandmother there. I didn't want to leave her upstairs, you know, without a way to get out. Anyway, as far as what we thought, I didn't come to the actual magistrate meeting. My husband had to come. I had to work. But the understanding we had was, yes, we were fined the two $500 fines, $1,000. And we were told we had to take down the staircase within a certain time frame. I believe it was 60 days, I'm not for sure. It was either 30 or 60, but we met the 30-day timeline. The stairs were down, and we restored the balcony and to everything to the original, the way it was supposed to be. We thought we were in compliance then. We didn't know that there would be $50 charges because we didn't pay the $1,000 fine. And like I said at the time, we were scrambling to get food for our family and to keep our electricity on. We couldn't have paid the fine anyway. But we did not know, but not paying the fine, that was keeping us out of compliance, that we were still going to be charged the $50 a day.
But what I didn't hear in all that.
I'm sorry.
Was you telling
Yes.
me that that roof or that structure that has not been properly permitted will be removed by
Yes.
February 2nd, because what I don't want to see is the new owner of that townhome come, well, we bought it that way and nobody ever told us that it wasn't allowed. I want it brought into compliance before February 2nd, and I want your commitment on the record that that's going to happen.
Yes, so we had someone come out from the code violations. They came out when we were moving, which was last weekend, and they looked at the structure. And he started to name off probably 10 violations, and we told him that there was no need. He could just stop there, that we're just going to take the structure down before February the 2nd, before the sale. We don't want the new owners to have to take on that responsibility, especially if it's not in code, and we'd have to take it down anyway to get it into code. So the structure is coming down.
Okay.
We'll start on it this weekend.
Okay, so with that being said, you originally said it came down within 60 days.
No, I'm talking the staircase, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the staircase, that's
Yes,
what you,
yes.
originally you said within 60
Yes,
days.
I believe it was whatever timeline they give us.
Okay.
It was either 30 or
So-
60.
So 60 days at $50 a day would be $3,000.
Okay.
So I'm going to make a substitute motion that we do the $1,000 fine, $3,000 because it was corrected after 60 days, so that would be $4,000 total, and that we direct that the current item be removed and not go before the magistrate and not get another administrative fine and not get another penalty. So that this whole thing is $4,000 and you're out the door and everything's wiped out as soon as that structure is brought into compliance.
I'll second that.
All right, with that, Councilman Braden?
I think what you do is withdraw.
I'll withdraw my motion so I can second that one.
Keeping us on the up and up. Councilman Braden?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if it just seems like these cases that come before the council, they're in violation, and we had the one gentleman that was in violation for several years, and I guess when he passed away, then the kids wanted to sell the house and found out there was this $300,000 lien or $600,000 or whatever. But anyway, the last 3 or 4 cases have come before us. The individual knew they were in violation and didn't fix it. Now, the last several, their houses, their property was being sold, and they had to. They got to do something now. They could care less before, but now it's do or die. They got to do something. So I'm like Jim. It's not working. So we need to change it or something, because we're just wasting staff's time. We're wasting code compliance, code enforcement time. We're on their back all the time. They're doing their job. And another thing is, every case that's come before us, I've told staff that if the city of Destin hasn't dotted all their I's, crossed all their T's, done everything, if they posted it on the door, I want proof of it, make sure they've done their job, everything they had to do. If they miss one step, then the whole thing, in my opinion, the whole thing's thrown out from word start, word go. But that hasn't happened. They've done their job, they've done everything we've asked them to do. And now we just want to throw everything out the window. So anyway, that's all I got. I'm done.
Councilman Gao.
I kind of agree with Rodney on this one, especially when it's not a resident. But I do have a question on the process, and I don't see anything in here, and I realize that's probably our fault. But do we have a humanitarian clause in any of these ordinances that state if they can come in and provide proof of that we can suspend the fine dates for some period of time?
Not exactly, no. You don't have something where you can suspend the fine dates. But for the lien reduction, you do have criteria in the code. It's actually in the staff report, but I handed out a second copy of it as well. Those criteria are in 1487, and that's for the lien reduction. And that includes kind of what you're talking about, because it's any relevant information, any demonstrated financial hardship, any mitigating circumstances, and there's a list of the things. So that's how we address it currently. Now, your percentages are the part that I think some council members are saying you're not following. It's not those criteria, because you are following those, but then you're frequently giving more of a percentage reduction than what the code provides right now.
Yeah, I understand that portion. Like I said, I was just curious if there was a, and you answered that question as well, if there was a humanitarian application that would allow you to suspend from a certain period of date.
No,
suspend
because
those
we're governed by state law on that process.
And that doesn't allow it. Okay.
No.
Thank you very much. That's what I need to know.
All right, anyone else? Any discussions, comments, concerns? All right, seeing none, we have a withdrawn motion to a new motion for 4,000 on the table, contingent on everything coming up to code. Is that correct?
Prior to February 2nd.
Prior, okay. All right, so with anything else, I'll call the motion on the question. All right. All right, so the motion passes for the four. Any questions while you're here with us? All right, thank you. Thank you for being here. All right.
Item 4B is regarding,
I would like this item put on the agenda for the next meeting to discuss. I don't care what we do with this policy, but we've got a policy, we got to fix it. So I just want it on the agenda, and everybody, I don't care what percentages we end up on at this point, but we got to do something that we will enforce, so that we don't leave the staff hanging out there of, what do we do? Go to council, and if you're lucky, you'll get $900,000 wiped away.
Roll the roulette table.
But Kim, you said there's about 20 and you're making efforts, or there is a current effort to acknowledge to all of these current ones, there is a process, you need to come in compliance or you're going to be held accountable?
Yeah, we're working on it. We're meeting about it, and we're trying to go through that, yes.
Well, they've got 2 weeks before the next meeting so that we can either stick with our guns on, we've created this for a reason, you need to come in compliance because we don't care what your sob story is, you're going to owe what you owe.
Councilman Gao?
I just heard Councilman Bagby say, come back with something that we'll all agree on. We all agreed on this. We all sat right here and voted on this and agreed on this. This is the standard. This is the one we set in place. If you don't have a backbone to follow through with it after you're the one that dedicated it and followed through or approved it, then that's on you. That has nothing to do with staff or anybody else on this council.
Great point. All right, Bossman Jones. Okay, Councilman Destin, anything? See ya.
I was just going to say, putting the percentages in here in a hard and fast rules was a mistake, in my opinion. We're sitting here as a judge when these things come in front of us, and to predetermine what we can do, irregardless of the circumstances of each unique case, is not a good idea, in my opinion. And staff is doing what they're supposed to do. They're assessing the fines as they are in the ordinance. Whether or not we think a case is made to reduce them, is not a reflection on the job that they've done. They've done their job. Reduce or not reduce, that's our job. So I look forward to getting rid of this myself.
I like the spin. All right, with that, do you have a motion and a second? Was that a direction or a motion? Direction? Okay, all right. Loud and clear.
Charter says actions shall be taken by motion, so I will second that.
Okay.
There we go. We gotta stay to our guns here. All right, I don't see any further discussion, so.
Can I ask for clarity? Are you
Please.
looking for a revised plan or just to have this plan back before council for discussion and then whatever action you wish to take to amend or do away with?
Yeah, I think we need to know, A, how many people are outstanding, and just to address Councilman Giles' point, you're absolutely right. The problem is I have felt in the last 4 or 5 cases that we had some ownership of the problem, that the staff did not go out there and say, you know, every 60 days or every 90 days or ever, hey, it got corrected. I can take this off my list. Yes, the owners had skin in the game because they should have contacted us, but we did not do what I had expected. And after talking with David this afternoon, we have fixed that problem. And so after we get these 20 or 15 or how many ever there are, hopefully that part of the problem will be fixed. And we will have this. And yes, we have had problems with people getting permits. I had a problem, you've probably had a problem, probably everybody in this city that's pulled a permit in the last 5 years has had challenges with the old system. So we own part of the problem. But I think we've fixed most of that stuff, and I would like to see something, some policy that we can actually follow. If we want to say there are no percentages, you just come and roll your dice, that's fine. At least that's the policy we can all live with.
No,
That answer, I want to know how many are out there. I want to know the value of all of them, okay? And I want to know that we have followed up on all of them. And if you have a good idea for a better policy, please, by all means, put it in front of us.
All right, Councilman Gao.
yeah, I'm just a little curious as how we have ownership when we have UPS document that states that somebody signed for it, and the homeowner that just doesn't want to lose $500,000 can conveniently say, oh, that must have been my kid, that's not my problem. Showed up at your house, you signed for it, there's no ownership here, but you guys gave that money right back. I mean,
Yep. Braden.
I mean, how do you, they tried to get the application online, fill it out. They came to the city to try to get a permit to fill out the application. They gave help. I've never heard anybody say that the staff didn't help them when they come up here on a computer to get a permit. And then they just said, screw it, I'm gonna do it anyway. And went and built it, and not only one, two, or if not even it sound like 3 now. I mean, how do you just say, well, we'll cut it in half for you, your fines or whatever? You know, we'll just reduce it by what? Really? I mean, I'm living in a different world because that never happens to me.
All right.
That's it. Next meeting.
Any further direction?
I think we're clear. Thank you.
Don't lie to me. All right, calling the vote. All right, 5-1. Tori's protesting.
That's okay.
Yep. All right. 4B.
4B is regarding the mayor pro tem discussion. I think we may have resolved that. Was there anything further we needed to do there?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we.
Button.
Oh, go ahead. You want to make the motion? That's fine.
It went back to, no, I want to make a comment, but it went back to yes, no, and abstain, so I can't do anything.
Rafe, yeah, if we can cancel that. And then,
I'll
Councilman
make the
Bagby.
motion that we appoint Councilwoman Teresa Abear as our mayor pro tem.
Second.
All right, with a motion and second.
By the current mayor pro tem.
Councilwoman
I'll bring up another motion after this one.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussions? All right, seeing none, we'll call the vote through 4B.
You thinking about it, Tori?
Yeah, he's still in protest.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, shit. I'm wasting my time up here.
Yeah. All right, congratulations.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Councilwoman Trammell?
Yes, I'd like to, for the council's consideration, it's come to my attention that we have council members who are sitting on committees right now that cannot attend due to work schedules and other things, and they're not attending the meetings that they're on committees for. So I'd like to bring up the discussion, not tonight, but at our visioning session, about whether or not you still want to be on that committee, and if you don't, we can play switch around if the situation is not working out for you. And that way, we can bring it all up at one meeting and make all the switches at one time if there are more than one.
I'll resign from TPO alternate right now. Anybody that wants to take it?
And Ms. Trammell, I'll call your attention to, there's a agenda for the visioning session in front of each of you. There's an item under 6C entitled Individual Leadership Commitments. That would probably be an appropriate time to have that conversation if you wish to have it at the visioning session.
Okay, that's all I wanted. I just wanted to see if was something we wanted to go forward with. Yes, 6C, to add it to 6C. I know. That's where it would go. Yes. Thank you. Do I need to make a motion for that?
No,
Okay.
we'll be there. That'll be about 3 in the afternoon.
Okay. All right.
Item 4C is regarding the pavement marking and road striping continuing services authorization agreement and authorization to execute a contract. This was with our current incumbent. We went out to bid. We had one respondent, Emerco Striping, so we recommend we continue utilizing their services for this road striping and marking.
I'll second it.
Sorry, Jim.
He's already done it for you.
All right.
December 31st, 2028?
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
All right. So I have my motion and a second. Any further discussions? Seeing none, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it unanimously, so moved.
Item 4D is in response to RFB 2514 for fire equipment, alarm monitoring, and life safety systems. Again, asking you to authorize execution of a contract. We again went out for bid for those services. BNC Fire Safety was the only respondent, but I would let you know that in the past, the alarm monitoring had been provided by another vendor, but now BNC has rolled that into their options, and they bid on that, and they were the low bidder because they were the only bidder. But it was, we felt they were reasonable in their ask, and so we would recommend approval.
All right, thank you for that. With that, do I hear a motion?
Mayor, I moved forward RFB 25-14-PW, Fire Equipment Alarm Monitoring and Life Safety Systems Services to BNC Fire Safety, Inc., and authorize the city manager to negotiate a continuing services contract for a 3-year term with two optional 1-year renewals, and to bring the contract back for council approval at the first meeting in February 2026.
Second.
All right, thank you for that. Motion and a second. Seeing no further discussions, we'll call the vote on 4D. All right, ayes have it, so moved.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Next item, 4E and following are for informational, subject to any questions you may have. 4E are the capital project status report. 4F is the TDC monthly report. 4G is the operations financial report. And 4H is the quarterly investment report. 4I, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Are you going to discuss the quarterly investment report?
Ms. Crystal will, if you'd be, have any questions.
I have a request, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
I was talking to Crystal earlier, and it looks like it's time for us to go out for another RFP to look at our investments. So I would like to make that motion that we look at an RFP to review our investments at this time.
All right,
I'll second that.
motion and second. Any further discussions? All right, seeing none. Ray will take a second for a custom vote, but we'll call that vote. All right. Oh, we can get the sergeant at arms. Follow some Robert's rules. All right, so moved. Ayes have it.
Item
All right,
4I
continue on.
is the minutes for the standing boards and committees. And then we move to 4J, are the announcements. Shared with you the announcement regarding the Marler Bridge earlier. But I want to bring you up to date on some things that are going on in Tallahassee, legislative-wise. Some interesting things going on. They working hard to take home rule away from local governments. So just share some thoughts or some actions that are over there. First, property tax. A lot of things moving around. They've not really landed anywhere, but as soon as we know what that looks like, we will certainly apprise you of it. I suspect it will have something to do with homesteaded properties, homestead exemptions, and how they move forward with some 100% exemption for homesteaded properties, but we're not there yet, so we'll keep that in front of you. But just for information, House Bill 103 and Senate Bill 122 deals with local business taxes, what we know as our BTR. But this bill takes away the city's ability to charge most local business taxes, eliminates it. The bill removes the authority statewide. It offers very limited exceptions that generally do not apply to the city of Destin. So there's some appetite to move that forward. What it means to Destin, it permanently removes that local source of revenue. It reduces the city's ability to match revenues with demand services in some instances. It limits future budget flexibility, and it represents another step to take away local financial control. So thank you, legislature. Senate Bill 548 and House Bill 1139. This bill makes it much harder for cities to raise impact fees. As you know, those fees are paid by new development to help fund roads, utilities, public utilities, and such. While the bill is promoted as a way to reduce housing costs, it also limits the city's ability to make growth pay for itself. So it makes it harder to adjust impact fees. It limits how much these fees can increase. Even when growth sustains, the infrastructure and the cost would not offset those growths. It shifts costs from new development to existing residents, creates higher legal risk if fees are challenged. It reduces funding options for capital improvements. Senate Bill 1138 and House Bill 927 deals with qualified contractors. This one's kind of interesting. This bill allows private contractors to certify that development projects meet city requirements and requires the city to accept those certifications. So, city of our size, we would have to certify 6 qualified contractors that any developer could engage to approve their developments and hand off to the city and say, guess what, city, you don't have any discretion but to give the thumbs up because these guys have already approved it. So, get some of that. House Bill 1049 deals with building permit requirements. This bill expands the types of home improvement projects that do not require a building permit and limits how cities can tailor permit rules to local conditions. Basically, any item costing less than $7,500, you don't have to have a permit for. So $7,499 projects become real interesting real fast. House Bill 803 is dealing another building permit. This bill and Senate Bill 1234 set more uniform rules across the state for how quickly permits must be issued and inspections completed, and expand the use of private inspectors again. While this can speed up approval, it reduces flexibility for cities dealing with complex sites such as coastal and flood-prone areas. And then last, Senate Bill 840. This is kind of the Senate Bill 180 fix. Exactly how much it fixes, we're not sure, but we do know it contracts the affected areas from 100 miles to 50 miles, and so it'll give us some relief. And then it collapses the time that instead of the clock running until, I think it was October of 27, it runs through July 1 of this year. So there's some good things there. So there's some effort, and that was the same sponsored SB 180. So there's some synergies there that maybe get some things done. So just wanted to share those with you. Any actions council would like to take to send Tallahassee away, we'd be more than happy to deliver them, but we'll keep you apprised of these things as they move forward.
On the bridge comment from some of the staff from ECRC, here's exactly what we know. Okay, so it appears the PD&E is on hold simply until the rehab versus replacement study is completed. There's no other reasons. It is suggested that the City of Destin reach out to FDOT leadership, Tim Smith and Rodney Chamberlain, on the continued position of the city and logical reasons why replacement is advantageous: safety, ice route, level of service, intercoastal connectivity, height limitation, military support, land use consistency. With that, if the council is interested, I would like to request you guys to direct the city manager and myself to go meet with FDOT and let them know your guys' position on replacement versus bandage project.
I'll make that motion that we do what you just asked us to do.
Sorry, I couldn't say that in less
And move it
words.
forward.
I'll second.
All right, any discussions, any kind of point of clarification on how we should address? Yeah,
Discussion, I may be on the wrong end of this again, but we've not had real robust discussion on the bridge being replaced. I think they're proposing a 6-lane that will go back into a 4-lane.
correct. At
That
Stallman
is
intersection.
a disaster for that part of town. It'll just make and aggravate our congestion that we have there. So if it can't go 6-lane into a 6-lane, I'm not sure that we should even be in favor of the bridge being replaced anytime soon. You're just going to make another big bottleneck there, and not even taking into effect what it would do to our Harbor One property. You know, personally, unless they can show us that they're going to make a 6-lane bridge and then it's going to be 6 lanes so we don't cause a traffic jam right there at the foot of the bridge again, I don't think it's a grand idea, really.
Okay. And he said this only in person to me after the TPO meeting that he was welcomed and introduced to. New director Rodney Chamberlain for FDOT 3. He seems very interested and driven to find a way to 6-lane West Destin. I don't know if that has anything to do with the bridge or if those are opposite, but just kind of for information for all of you to understand what he's told me in casual talks right after the TPO meeting of, you know, we can do lane reductions, we can take out the medians in landscaping, and if there's a will, there's a way for 6-laning. I would be staunchly against that.
Well, we can make it into a racetrack. We certainly can.
Yeah, I mean, right now we could turn it into an
And that's going to
asphalt.
be
Yeah.
extremely unpopular. So
100%.
I hesitate for us to take positions on any of that
Yeah.
until we've talked to the public and see what they think.
Okay. All right. So I do have Councilwoman Trammell.
Yes, when I discussed this today in my briefing, we were also talking about the volunteer committee that we appointed to look at that would no longer meet.
So I've been talking to Touchstone Mr. Touchstone here, who's chairing it, and some of them agree that even if the bridge is shelved and it's going to be sometimes, there seems to be a lot of capable people on there. For us to create that vision without a time pressure situation and shelve it for later might not be a bad idea, since we have some very in the business people that could really help us guide what we would want there if and when that ever came. So that was their position of, they felt very confident that we could catch up to the PD&E study with the committee and create those design standards. If the urgency goes away, they're still willing to see the mission through, complete it, wrap it up, and we at least have something a little bit more proactive than when it next comes around. We might not have the talent in the community to articulate it correctly with the State Department.
So if the desire is still there to finish the project that they've started, can they not still meet?
Yes, and I know the last thing they were waiting on was they wanted to invite the PD&E study consultant to that committee so that they could get aligned, because it seemed like they had their first meeting, they kind of put their heads together, and they had suggested, or maybe even made a motion on that, all right, the next meeting, we can't just talk about this again. We need to have some boots on the ground from their side as far as a consultant to really help drive our direction, so that we're not just wishfully thinking of where they might be or could be, but really kind of start integrating with them in their plan. Because if this goes in the next direction, then I guess the question then is, if the PD&E study consultant is irrelevant, then we just go back to what I guess is.
Well, I don't see it as irrelevant, just because we can have someone who does PD&Es all the time.
Correct, yeah,
And
we
go
have-
ahead and get that and be proactive with that, because you know it's going to happen eventually. And I agree with you, we do have a lot of people on there that have expertise that are willing to volunteer.
Yeah.
So to me, do we need to grant them permission to go ahead and to reach out and to get someone who can do or discuss with them how they do a PD&E and what they look at and all of that kind of stuff?
I kind of pass that to you. Is that something we can invite their consultant in, even at our own
If they still
expression?
have a consultant, and if that be the case, yes, but I would think that our engineer could give the framework of what a PD&E looks like and what they would be considering. So, yeah, I mean, if it's your desire for the committee to continue, I don't think that takes any action. So I think we just press on if that's direction we want to go in.
Okay.
I'd like them to continue.
Okay. Councilwoman Aber?
Well, I was pretty much on the same sheet of music as Sandy, so she's pretty much, I agree. I think we need to put our heads together, get with them, and let's get this thing figured out, not just sit back and wait for them to do something.
Okay. Councilman Bagley?
Yeah, I'll support the motion, but to Mr. Destin's point, if they want to build a bridge that's two spans that's 6 lanes wide, but they only put in 4 lanes, similar to the Pensacola Bridge, if you've driven across it, there's enough room to add at least one more travel lane, because I think that would help with contraflow during a storm, or would help if one of the spans got damaged because some boat that thought they could get through there didn't quite get through there. So I'm willing to go ahead, but I don't want to see it be more lanes than what it lands into, so.
And me not being an engineer, my selfish desire would, from what the plans are, even from the other bridges, is the amount of pedestrian widening
Yes.
of the bridge. I know that's not justification for a massive bridge, but to your point, I do agree, I would be afraid of the bottlenecking in the 6 laning, but if we can create that new structure that has the emergency capacity, I think that's still a viable product. All right, Councilman Destin?
That's a modification that would be a good idea, but I still want us to be very careful about what we're endorsing. And as far as the 6 laning through Destin, way
Yeah.
back before you were born, maybe, the Sasaki plan
Yeah.
proposed 2 one-way pairs, 3.
I've heard of that.
That is a better idea than trying to put a 6-lane racetrack through West Destin. So we need to be very careful about what we're endorsing, because I'm not in favor, nor do I think the majority of the people in Destin would endorse
No.
any of that.
Even as a past tree planting nonprofit executive director, I've never felt the need to tie myself to a tree, but I would tie myself to the medians of these trees
And
for multiple
we will-
reasons above the
We will
tree.
get a whole lot of that, so let's
Yeah.
be very careful about what we're endorsing.
Okay, no, that's a great point. Thank you for the guidance. All right, that was a motion and second on that? Yeah. It's, okay, so, and to be clear, that was more for the committee than anything? Yeah. Okay. Ray, do you got that in what you need? We've been a little over.
May I have you repeat that, Ms. Haber? And who seconded it?
He said it best.
Yes,
Said what he said.
but to be clear to what Destin, Councilman Destin and them said, I don't want to construe what I started with versus kind of what seems like where we ended, so I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. My request was for us to go to Chipley and let them know what the council's objectives are for the bridge and, yeah, I guess for the bridge and the leadership of this.
And the visioning of where it should be, to be
Yeah.
involved with this.
But please,
And
Find this
and
down.
the objectives, of course, are to look forward to try to make it happen without the 6-laning coming to the 4-lane and the 6-laning through Destin. We definitely don't endorse those things, but we would be like to be part of the discussion to where it goes from here.
okay, perfect, thank you for
Would
that.
it perhaps be better timing to go kind of find out what they've got in mind? What, you know,
Yeah,
so, but, and then we can come back, we'll have time to develop what strategies we want. If we make that visit, let's just go in a fact-finding
Yep.
effort of saying, you know, what are you trying to deliver? What is your goal and objective?
yep.
Then
you
we'll
get all
better
that,
know what
Ray?
to bring back to council.
Now, did you get it? All right,
We're,
good. That's it.
we're
gonna
authorizing
vote
the
on
mayor
that.
and the city manager to go to Chipley and meet with FDOT to
And-
discuss the
What they're
Marlar
gonna do,
Bridge.
yes.
Thank you, Jim. Councilman Bagby. All right, I will call the vote. Oh, I don't see any further discussions. That was a very unplanned motion, so thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Yeah, because I would, thank you guys. So motion passes 6-0. Yeah, because I think we, like, first seek to understand, first principles. All right, I like that. Thank you, sir. Any further announcements? Took your jam.
Yeah. Good evening. We'll have our visioning session on Friday at 9 a.m. We already had several partners that said yes to coming, Destin Fire, Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, Chamber and such. So we appreciate them sending representatives, and the public is, of course, welcome. So 9 a.m. here at the Annex. We also want to say a huge thanks to Congressman Petronas, Senator Scott, their offices, the Coast Guard, FWC, and all the citizens who helped with our letter writing campaign in relation to the navigational aids. Out of the pass, we have had some baby step movement with lights being put out there, but we of course now have commitment from the Coast Guard on funding for that for the infrastructure change. So we're awaiting the timeline for that.
And thank you for your work on that. That was a lot of bureaucracy.
So, appreciate that. And lastly, we had our closure to date of our annexation survey. We had 151 survey respondents, and the consultant sent us the raw data. So we're going to compile that into some pie charts for some nice, easy, clear reading for you all and get that to you soon.
So we're done with they're not calling anymore? We got all the numbers?
Correct. Today was the last day for that.
Ooh. When are we going to have this?
Absolutely.
Out to council for us to look at? I'm just excited. Good. Okay, awesome. Yeah, filter it out. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a couple more pie charts to share, and as Bossman was saying, we're going to meet tomorrow and
Good.
then have that for you.
Excited. All right, oh, that's it? All right, moving right along. We'll go right into public hearing. Ms. Kimberly Kopp.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a second here. Where did it go? All right, this is, can I have the order? because our documents are missing, so give us 1 second. This is ordinance 2526 LC, an ordinance of the City of Destin, Florida, deleting section 71300, nonconforming uses and structures, and section 160800, nonconforming signs of the Land Development Code, and creating a new Article 3, nonconformities, amending and updating regulations relating to nonconformities, creating an exception for structures located within the South Harbor Mixed-Use District, SHMU, that are damaged by natural disasters or certain other forces majeure by greater than 50% as set forth herein, providing for authority, providing for findings of fact, providing for incorporation into the Land Development Code, providing for conflicting provisions, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. This is another first reading. You did look at this at the last council meeting, and the changes you directed have been put into the ordinance.
All right, thank you for that. And with that being a public hearing, if anyone wishes to speak on this specific item at this time, this is your time to do so. All right, seeing no public comments, I'll close the public comment portion. And do we have an applicant to come up, or are we going for motion?
Did you do the public hearing?
Yep.
Okay, then you're good for a motion.
All right, yep. So with that, if anyone from council wishes to make a motion, this is your time to do so.
Move that the city council approve ordinance 25-26-LC with the following change. In paragraph 3.06, that billboards may not be improved. David has that language, and he can read you the exact sentence as he modified it during our pre-meeting.
Okay, currently it reads, off-site signs, billboards, or permanent outdoor advertising sign structures or portions thereof which require a building permit shall not be repaired or replaced. We'll modify that by adding improved before repaired or replaced, and it will now read, off-site signs, billboards, or permanent outdoor advertising sign structures or portions thereof which require a building permit shall not be improved, repaired, or replaced.
And I asked for that change because repair or replace doesn't mean they can't put solar panels on and lights on, and they make it and just continue
I'll second
to
that.
go on forever.
All right, so I have a motion and a second. Councilman Braden?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, like I said last time, I know we're doing this to, I guess, preserve heritage, our heritage, or places that are heritage on the harbor. But I've yet had anybody tell me of a building down there that has anything to do with our heritage. There's several buildings down there that need to be tore down, and if they are tore down, they need the building tore down because a hurricane comes through. They get to rebuild it like it is, and I mean, there's some changes, they got to bring it up, but again, we're doing this to preserve our heritage, the heritage building, so what are we preserving? Nothing? But we're going to pass it anyway?
Councilman Destin?
I suppose that's the premise, that we have no heritage.
Yeah. I don't know what we got. We lost that 30 years ago.
Clarified the issue.
All right. With that, I guess I'll wait till this motion's through. All right, I have a motion. Any other further discussions, comments, points of contention? All right, seeing none, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it 4-2, so moved. David, no need to put you on blast, so not really necessarily an answer. I know I should have asked this during our meeting, but I forgot. The billboards, we were gonna look into, is there a way to do any kind of site surveillance or any kind of spot checking to see if they're now non-structural or insufficiently structured? And report, some of them are pretty nasty, and I've gotten some citizen complaints in the past of, seeing rust and other debris from some of the older ones around town, that they've noticed material on the ground. So I don't know, if any, I guess, empowerment from the building official or city development to at least spot check the safety and welfare of making sure that these things don't collapse on anyone.
So, and I'll defer to the attorney, but I think if we have evidence or a report of there's an unsafe structure, then by all means, the building official can look into it. As far as, I don't know, the city attorney may be able to weigh in. I don't know if we could just do random periodic checks on them without
Well,
cause.
the issue, last time I talked to Noelle about that, and she's not here, right? But she had said she doesn't have the qualifications to make that determination anyway. So we do not currently have somebody on staff that could look at the structural integrity of billboards, structures.
Okay. Do we have any subcontractors that would have those?
Not to my knowledge right now. That's a question for Dave, but I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
We would have to find somebody to then do that work for us. We would
Okay.
contract them to do that.
I'm happy to volunteer my drone so we don't have to get on anyone's personal property. Councilwoman Trammell?
Well, it was my understanding if they needed repaired or maintenance, that they were to be taken down. And so, if they need paint, they should be taken down. If they, any of that, which is drastically obvious, that they are in need of repair, they should be removed.
Yep, and Councilwoman Aber?
And to speak to what Ms. Trammell was saying, whenever Lamar's representatives were here, they said that, they would be looking at them throughout the years because as they were put up, the amount of years that were left, it wasn't like they all went up at the same time. That's why the one on One Harbor was deteriorating pretty fast because it was one of the first ones that went up. That's why it was easy for them to say, okay, yeah, you got to take it down because we didn't want them to fix it. So I think it's pretty much already in place that the big billboards for sure that are owned by Lamar, they have like a ticking time on when those have to come down.
I would hope so because it's their private property and if they injure somebody with them, they'll be the ones that are liable, so.
And that was my fear, not to necessarily play gotcha games with them, but it kind of behooves them to expand that life as long as possible for a larger ROI of the material that they purchased. So as the undergrounding happens, that'll probably be our next biggest eyesore outside of what we just passed. So with that, thank you guys. All right, moving right along, Councilman Braden, comments, presentations?
Thank you, Mayor. Any new updates for the purchase of the $84 million piece of property that we don't like? Any from the state? Nothing? Nothing new?
We've had some conversations that are continuing. We're probably going to end up with whatever disagreements we have with the county. And we're certainly having some more conversation with state folks in the process, but if they move forward with a lease, which we've asked them to make sure we're in that loop, and what that loop looks like, we haven't got any clarity yet. But if they do end up leasing to the county, which would be kind of the first step in the process, and that lease would be subject to a management agreement, which we all know what that looks like at this point, and we've gone on record as stating our objections to that, that if it does end up being leased to the county, then the rub we're going to have is going to be between us and the county, and ever how we seek to best resolve that would be the course of action we need to take. Is that reasonable from what you understand, Ms. Cobb?
Yes, for now.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, that's all. I'm done, Mayor. Thank you.
The only thing I'll add to that, Commissioner Palmer and I were at the Holiday Isle Association, their annual meeting, and he was presenting on it. I was just kind of there. I said a couple words and answered some questions that basically just summarized what you guys had talked about up here. One of the things he keeps leaning on, and whether it's political coverage or at the end of the day, it's their direction, he keeps leaning on the stipulations in the contract that was approved at the governor's cabinet meeting. So, they bought the land with these contingencies or with these stipulations. He keeps informing people that, you know, at the end of the day, there's multiple issues that whether we have the issue of or the private residents do, that their hands are tied because of that document. And so I haven't gone and done a super thorough read of that all, but just so you all know and just kind of passing information along to you guys, that seems to be what they keep saying, oh, well, we can't because of this, and I haven't gotten into all the details, but that seems to be where they're coming from is
Just
where.
for clarification, I think he's saying the staff report,
The
not
staff
a
rep-
contract.
Oh, okay,
That-
yeah.
As far as I've heard.
Whatever the governor-
They're talking about a staff report that went to the governor's cabinet is not, as far as I know, contractual.
Okay, because, yeah, okay, so I might have my
Just
notes
to
wrong.
clarify
I might
that.
have my non-official minutes wrong. My takeaway was whatever they agreed at the cabinet meeting had some things in it, and thus we can't do anything about it unless we want to go back to the state, go back to the cabinet, and revise those stipulations, was my takeaway from his, and he could
I'm
have.
just saying that I think they're referring to a staff report.
Yeah.
And there's not currently any contract that I'm aware of between the county and the state. However, Larry and I are still talking with the state, and we will be giving you updates.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. I just don't want it to be construed that there's a contract for anything specific between the county and the state right now, because I don't think there is.
No, I believe he was speaking to the state per the purchase and what their expectations were. And again, I don't know if that was contractual or not, but it was my assumption of how he presented it, that that was what they were going by, so. All right, so with that, I just wanted to throw that out there since you guys weren't there and it was just an invite, so.
Mayor,
yeah.
one other thing.
Please.
Dewey said he was there. Is there anything you can share with us? I mean, were you there when the deal was done, or
Oh, at the cabinet meeting?
did
Yeah,
they
was there anything?
say anything at the cabinet meeting of any?
And I think Ms. Kopp was there and our city manager. I don't recall any contractual discussion about.
So we had heard that the county was attending, and we heard about the cabinet meeting kind of last minute. So since the county was attending, the city manager, myself, and Councilmember Destin went to make sure we knew what was going on because the county was not communicating with us. So we did not participate in any way in the cabinet meeting or anything before that, but we were there to hear what the county and the state were discussing with each other without us.
And there was almost no discussion whatsoever at the cabinet meeting, as I recall.
Just,
And certainly nothing, the county didn't get up and say anything, and nor did the cabinet refer to the county in any manner. So that's so much.
that's why we were there, but then there was never any discussion.
So it was basically hush-hush, and there was a motion made or something, and they passed it, or is that how it worked?
They're also
There was
not
a motion
beholden to the
made that
sunshine.
grouped several properties, and this was one of them. And my recollection was that the CFO had a question about this specific property, and the governor said they are grouped, so we can't pull one out, so you have to make a decision on the group. And so, with that being said, they all voted for the group of properties unanimously. Including the CFO, all of them, unanimously.
So all the properties, it was a kind of a hurry-up thing with all the properties, or just one, or
All grouped together.
all grouped
And
together?
it
We gotta
was-
get this
it
done
was
right now?
apparent- It was apparent from the get-go that they were going to pass.
I got you. Okay, cool. Thank you.
But, we were left out of all these conversations, if there were any, between the county and the state, and we were trying to figure out what conversations were happening, but there was no dialogue between them at that meeting. But that is why the three of us went.
All right, appreciate you bringing that up. All right, Councilwoman Trammell?
I just had one question. Well, I have two things to bring up tonight, but one was, we keep getting a letter, and I cannot remember from where, asking us to support no drilling in the Gulf. Have we written anything about that?
I feel like we're one of the first.
Okay, and we did that. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure, because they keep saying you haven't done your resolution yet, and I kept thinking, yeah, what planet were we on? Did we get it sent? Maybe that's the problem. They
Ray,
didn't
did
get
we
it.
do a resolution for no drilling in the Gulf?
I'll follow up, but
If we
We
didn't,
did
we
so.
will get one to you at the next meeting.
Okay,
So,
I gave all the council members and Ray a picture. This is just a rendering. This is from the Parks Foundation. And this is something that we're going to have our first fundraiser on Friday, the 13th of February at La Paz and Local Market. And this is a rendering of what the pavilion at Clement Taylor Park right now. We would like to, as a foundation, make it our heritage, because that's where the original schoolhouse was. So we had this rendering done to make it look a little more schoolhouse-ish. So just so you have seen the picture, nothing has come before the city for permitting or any of that stuff, but we're going to begin our fundraising to do something with that pavilion to make it look like this. And council members, you will be getting an invitation to that event on Monday.
So you're telling me you're asking for a lien reduction?
I'm asking for you to buy a brick.
Oh, I like to buy the brick. All right,
Buy
good
a
stuff.
brick. Do you see where the bricks are right here? The original schoolhouse on the inside was wainscoted, okay? So you can't do that in an open-air building. But if we get enough bricks, we can put enough little brick foundations around all those and make it look like wainscoting. Anyway,
Very
that's
cool.
what we're working toward at this
Awesome.
point.
Thank
you, Mayor.
Thank you for that. Councilman Destin.
Thank you, Mayor. Tagging on to what Mr. Braden was speaking about, we seem to be kind of dead in the water on the park issue over there. And since our county is so adamant about following the directions they got from the cabinet, and I believe I remember in the written language itself, it said the park shall be managed in conjunction with the city of Destin Noriega Park. So I think we need to direct the mayor to work with the city manager and the city attorney to go to a commission meeting and tell them we are ready to participate in their efforts to comply with what the state told them to do, and let's get together and get an interlocal agreement. If we can do that, and if they are really truly trying to follow the rules and regulations, then they should tell us, let's get together sometime between now and June and work out this interlocal agreement and how we're going to work together to further $84 million worth of park. And so I will make that motion. Now, the question is, does the county commission, do they meet once a month or twice a month?
Twice.
So I would move that we send the mayor to make a presentation at the public meeting on the second meeting in February.
Appreciate that.
To,
Can't wait.
To show that they understand how enthusiastic we are about working with them. And the mayor and the city attorney and the city manager can get together a script. And I would further move that we forward that attempt to work with them to the DEP and other affected state officials so that they will know we are trying to do what they directed all of us to do. And now I'll make that in a motion. I think I have a second.
Yeah, Councilman Braden for the second. Any other points? Yep.
About 6 seconds.
Yep. All right, seeing no further discussions, thank you for the honor. I'll call the vote. All right, looking
Thank you,
forward
Mayor.
to
That's all for me.
Thank you for that. Looking forward to a collaborative win-win solution. All right, Councilman Bagby.
Yeah. Good cop, bad cop. Okay?
Fun cop.
Fun cop. So I'm going to make a motion to direct staff to draw up a resolution with a cover letter to the Secretary of the DEP and courtesy copy the cabinet and our legislative delegation requesting that we be named, or that the city of Destin, not we individually, be named in the lease agreement to become the managing entity of the 4-acre park based on our ownership of the road through that park and our adjoining parcel that we already manage.
Second.
And I don't want it sent, I want it to come back to council should the mayor's and city manager's overwhelming presentation before the county
I'm
commissioners
gonna cry.
fall on deaf ears, then I will make a motion that it be sent. Because
Perfect timing.
we're going to let the good cop do his thing, but, you know, sometimes good cops don't work. You guys both work, but, you know, other cops, yeah.
The only thing I want to point out is while the management plan wouldn't get approved before June, the lease could be approved faster, and I don't know where that's at, so. I don't know if it could happen before.
If he comes back from the second meeting in February of the Board of County Commissioners and goes, I don't think they didn't vote to approve that, then I'm going to make a motion to send it to the Secretary of the DEP.
Be ready.
Do you want me to go to the first meeting in February? I mean, that's your direction, so I don't want
Good
to
cop's direction, you're talking.
give them time.
Second meeting,
Second meeting.
I think the second meeting, that gives us time to contemplate a number of other questions.
Perfect. All right. Just letting you know, I'm willing and able.
Since you spent your birthday at the Holiday Isle meeting,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're
My birthday was, I brought popcorn while they booed the county's plans. Not the people, the plans. So with that, I do have a motion. Do I have a second? Just for who? Okay, sorry, I didn't know. I didn't catch it, just in case, for the minutes. All right. All right. All right, with that, I'll call the vote. There we go. All right, 6-0, so moved. All right, anything further?
Yep, I make a motion that we approve the Harbor CRA work plan as presented by the Harbor CRA Board to us earlier this evening.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, I know y'all did. Y'all
Would have been a meeting for nothing. Would have been the first of its kind. All right, seeing no further discussions, we'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it, 6-0, so moved. Anything further?
And finally, while I was firmly in Ms. Kopp's camp supporting the University of Miami last night, they fell short, and I want to congratulate Tamara and the victory of the IU Hoosiers on their national championship.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
I'll throw out Lockwood Warnett, who was the past director for Destin Water Users, also a Hoosier, and so I'll throw that out there if he even cares about these meetings anymore. I doubt that. With that, Councilwoman Hebert.
Thanks, Mayor. Well, thank you, Jim, for taking care of our CRA work plan. That was what I was going to do. Okay. So thank you for making that happen. And I, too, want to congratulate both teams. Played exceptionally well last night. I was crying for Kim, but I was laughing for Tamara because she was like, had that picture of the field behind her like she was physically there. I was like, you go, girl, with your $4,500 ticket. That was a great game. So, but anyway. Thanks to the staff, though. I know you guys have been working really hard trying to get everything ready, especially for our meeting on Friday. Crystal, as always, keep the finances squared away. Thank you for working hard on all of that. And our engineer, grinning and bearing it every day. And say, David, thank you as well. Just want to make sure you as the staff realize we know you guys have tedious things you have to deal with, but we up here do appreciate you. And Lisa, I want you to know the people that come to that the community center, I've seen them as they're all grinning, going back to their cars down on that lower parking lot. Whatever you're doing up there, all the programs and everything you're hosting, our snowbirds, your team is doing a great job. Parks and Rec commending all of your team for all the work they're doing to keep those folks that are visiting during these off-season months happy and wanting to come back every year. So well done. Thank you.
Councilman Gile.
Thank you. I'm going to hand this thing out real quick. Will you pass one of these down? Where'd you go?
Back up? Oh, I like that.
All right. So Adventure Development, Bob Black came to me about a development order. His project is to put a 16-foot by 37-foot canopy over an existing paved parking area. So he's not changing the impervious, he's not changing anything, he's just putting a canopy because Destin Water Users wants to preserve their golf cart seats. They want them out of the sun. In doing this, the way we have dictated the LDC 3.00.01, we've hand-tied community development to where they can't make really decisions on things like this. And they are calling this a minor development order, which means he has to pay $2,500 in order to install a canopy that the materials alone probably cost $2,500. And when you look at the development order paperwork that I just handed you, the only questions in this entire application that would apply to his development order are the very first page that asks for his name, business, and contact information. He is not adding any impervious, he is not changing the use, he is not changing the intensity, there's absolutely nothing going on there where he's changing anything on that property. But by definition, we've dictated he has to fill out this paper, submit it, and pay a $2,500 application fee.
Do you want a motion to vote that he get a waiver?
So what I would like to do is, one, motion that he get the waiver, but two, that we change some of the wording. And I've talked to David Pritchard about this because he has been in this role a lot longer than I have and knows a lot more than I do. And that we could potentially change the verbiage to read projects that involve a change of use, change of intensity, and an increased impervious surface area or increase in building gross floor area would require either a minor development order, something that qualifies in that realm, not something that we're putting a canopy over.
Yeah, an amenity.
Yeah, an amenity or anything like that, just to preserve functional equipment.
Would that not require anything, or would that require a permit?
It would still require a permit, and the
Okay.
permit office would review and verify compliance. So it would still be a permit.
But he wouldn't have to pay a $2,500 fee, correct?
Right, and it wouldn't fall under minor development or major development because it's not really altering anything that's
It's a tent.
significant.
So it's just a tent.
Just basically a permanent tent.
So what is your motion, and I'll second it.
My motion is to waive this project, waive the fees on this project first, and then I'll have another motion after that.
I'll second that.
Do we need to go ahead and vote on that before I go into
Yeah,
this
we'll
motion?
get into discussions
Our
on,
discussion?
yes. Councilman Destin, I got you up first here.
Well, that's an easy question. I'll direct it to the city attorney. Do we have the authority to waive something like this? And if we do, where is it in the code? I agree with Tori that this is an issue that needs to be addressed by a change in the ordinance probably. But do we have any authority to waive?
There is a development order exemption process already in the code. It doesn't go to council, so I'm not really sure why this came to council tonight. If we had talked about it, I would have said this is a staff level thing, because we have a DO exemption process. I'm not sure what went on here, but it's not council that would give this waiver.
Right. Okay. I apologize then, because I went through the meeting.
Still got a question though. How do we go about addressing the fundamental underlying problem
I
that,
think the LDC rewrite should be addressing this. If something is not meant to be for a development order process, then staff can revise the code. That's what we've been working on.
and we would direct them to do that?
I mean,
Or direct the LDC or whoever it is we
Yes.
direct to do things?
correct, exactly, yes.
Okay. Well, if that motion is to direct them to address this issue, then I can support that.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, so.
Control the order.
Yeah, so right now, if it's a staff level, are you okay either directing staff to look into that specifically with urgency and a date, or would you want to retract that motion and go more procedural so this doesn't happen to the next person?
Well, a little bit of both, because this has already been before staff. I sat before staff with the applicant, and staff said their hands are tied until we make a change up here. right?
There's 2.0502 of the LDC, which talks about exemptions. And so there are exemptions for various things. There's a whole list. Clearing and grading is one. Very minor alterations to existing properties is another one. So, I mean, there's an exemption process where you don't have to do a development order.
Well, then can I please go back to staff, because maybe I'm misunderstanding something, and I want to make sure that, I mean, I don't want to waste your time if I just misunderstood something, and there's a way that they can resolve it on their
I
own.
think it's two questions. One is the issue at hand, and I would agree 100%. If there's a method in the code for us to grant that exemption, I would agree 100% that that would be an opportunity to do that, and would assure you that would get done. The second being the broader question of how are these handled moving forward, and that would be an amendment to the land development code, and we can certainly bring that back to you in our rewrite and make sure that it's addressed.
All right. I think you all did a great job, by the way. I sat in the meeting with you all, and you were very thorough, and you showed me exactly in the LDC where it stated exactly what you need to do and why you need to do it. And I was absolutely convinced, but are you comfortable with reviewing this and finding what Ms. Kopp just stated?
Yeah, so the difference on here, we were talking about, we looked to see whether or not we could exempt or, you know, waive a deviation. I couldn't find any language on the deviation. And just talking to staff, that language applies to if there's not been a development order already issued. But in this case, there had been a development order issued to Destin water users. And so the way the code, we interpreted the code that we didn't have any latitude, because there already was a development order, and then the way it was written, the deviation didn't give us any latitude.
That's an interpretation issue then. If that's how they're, it doesn't say that, but it could be interpreted that way. Regardless, the bigger issue is if you don't want it interpreted that way, change the LDC. Right now, it just says this is an exemption to the requirement for a development order. So you could interpret that to say it doesn't apply to amendments. I would have said it does. That's the point of it, but I understand the interpretation.
All right. Then if we can all agree that the new or the way it should be interpreted is that regardless of previous development order or not, then I'll go with the motion that Mr. Destin presented earlier as my new motion.
Yeah,
Can we
just for
accept that?
one more thing, just for clarity, if there was a condition in the development order that was to address whatever you were changing, you wouldn't be able to use the exemption, obviously. But if there's not a condition in the existing DO relevant to taking down a tree or whatever minor alteration it is, you should not have to get an amendment. You should be able to go with the exemption process. That was the point of that code. So just for clarity.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure staff's comfortable and everybody's comfortable, because what I don't want to do is get over here and just be a jackass trying to bully through or push through anything. I just want to make sure everybody's happy and on the same page and we're all agreeable and we can move forward.
Yeah, it's easier for us, I agree. If we weren't interpreting it correctly or fully, then it's easier for us to understand the proper interpretation.
Wonderful, thank you. And then I adopt the motion that was made by Councilman Destin.
Tell the staff or the LDC, whoever it is, to look at this issue and come back with some solutions.
Yeah. Please, that's my.
But for this particular, I mean, that's going to be a couple of month process. This particular issue and the ultimate interpreter of the codes is the city attorney. Now, if they can get together and come to an interpretation they all agree on, that may be a short-term solution to this particular issue. But the big idea and the big term is we want to get in there and try to fix some of this.
All right. A motion and second. So I do have a motion and second. With that, Councilman Bagby?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm clear, because my question is, what led us to the interpretation that it required a minor development order?
Well, it already had a major development order, and this was deemed by the language in the code as a minor deviation to a major development order.
Okay. So And that was deemed by you or one of the members of your team, right?
Correct.
Okay. Because I don't want us to get in, and I think we're all in agreement up here. We don't want to be directing changes, approval of changes or whatever to interpretations. I just want to make sure I understand, because to me, a cover for 6 golf carts doesn't seem like a minor deviation, but I don't know, it may have been the size of a football field and they only had 6 golf carts in there. So what, is there some fact that we're missing?
Well, so yeah, we felt the same way. If you look at a minor deviation is defined in the code as a deviation from a final development plan that does not meet the definition of a major deviation. So now I got to go to major deviation.
Right.
Okay, major deviation is a deviation from a final development plan, including any change to a condition in the final development order that was expressly imposed by the city council, or any change that adversely affects the compatibility of the proposed project, or any change that the city manager or his designee determines should be reviewed by the city council due to the community impact of the proposed change. So it kind of fell through the cracks, by the way. You know, it seemed unreasonable for something of this magnitude to have to be treated as a deviation. But the way it's written, there was no other recourse in the staff's mind.
Well, it's not like you're building a guard shack with water and electricity and all this other stuff. You're just putting up a cover. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, I understand that would be a minor deviation to the major development order. But if I want to put up a shade umbrella out there because I want my employees eating outside and I want to put a couple of picnic tables, what you're saying, what I hear you saying, is then I would need a minor deviation to their development order to put a couple of picnic tables for lunch?
Yeah, it doesn't seem, we agree. We agree that it seems like that's not what the intent would be, but that's.
And the motion is to try to address that problem.
Yeah, and part of the issue where there were columns or supports that were going to penetrate the earth. So in that.
That's what I was just asking Tori, if there were, because I can understand why staff, we have other projects where there's cement pillars going in and we have required a minor DO. They're also removing or changing uses, and so that was a little different than what I was understanding from Tori. But here's the thing, it's hard for us up here to give an answer when staff is sitting in a pre-app and getting all the details that we don't have. So I want to give credence to what they did. We don't know all the facts.
Right.
But generally, there is a process for development order exemptions that may or may not apply depending on the facts.
And just so I'm clear, they will still have to get a permit and pay a permit fee to do whatever it is they're doing.
Correct. So
I'm fine.
Yep, exactly.
All right, Councilman.
And they did their due diligence. I want to make sure everybody knows, because I sat in the meeting, I asked a million questions, and they pulled up on the LDC verbatim why they had these questions, why they had these issues, and why it was compliant. So the only thing we weren't absolutely sure of until Ms. Kopp here clarified was the waiver, or what did you call it? I apologize.
Section 2.0502, DO exemption.
DO exemption.
Councilwoman Aber.
All right, because I was kind of confused too, because I thought if we're tying your hands with verbiage that's an interpretation issue on a minor or major development order change, I mean, if that's with just this one, what's to say that there's a trickle effect on other folks coming in with development orders, whether it's major or minor? Are we going to tie your hands with verbiage that's like interpreted incorrectly, but we want to make sure we stay on track for anyone coming in, so.
Correct. So I think the best thing, I think we understand the intent now, but I think the best thing to do is add some clarifying language to the LDC.
Perfect. I'm good with this. Thank you.
Councilmember Braden.
Thanks. This just seems like another example of why people don't want to get a permit.
Why they don't like government in general, all of us.
And I know I know I was told previously a few months ago that we're not doing a rewrite of the LDC, but we are doing a rewrite of the LDC, and this is the reason I'm hoping that we are doing a rewrite of the LDC to make it so if I read it or if the staff reads it, or anybody else, homeowner reads it, it's, you know, it's not up to, yeah, it's not up to, you know, different people's interpretation. Because it's a little disturbing that the staff all, you know, determined it was what they did determine on a minor deviation or whatever, minor development order. And then the attorney comes up with a whole nother avenue that they didn't take. Because I know Mr. Bob Black, I know he has exhausted all avenues, and he's probably met with the staff, and then his final straw was coming to the council, saying, look, this is just ridiculous. You know, I've tried and tried and tried, and it's just not happening. So I'm hoping with the rewrite of the LDC, this, you know, the staff or whoever reads it, it's not up for interpretation of, you know, well, I read it this way, I could read it that way. I thought that was one of the big reasons we're doing the LDC. So I don't know. I hope we get it fixed, because it should have never come this far at all.
Shouldn't have had to come to council.
No, they should have never get this far.
And with all agreements, we'll call the vote.
All right, let's do it. Thank you, Mayor. You gotta get out of here, it's past 8 o'clock.
All right, ayes have it, so moved.
What else,
Councilman
Lauren?
Guy.
Yeah, I just want to follow up by saying I think you guys did an amazing job. I sat in the meeting, I watched how thorough you were with going through the definitions, explaining the definitions, going back through the LDC to show where you're getting your interpretation. So I hope you don't take this as a jab. I just think it's us tying your hands, and it's our chance to untie your hands and do your job a little bit better. That's all I got.
Amen. All right, I got nothing because Indiana was already recognized. Kim?
This is what I got. This is the U, okay? Congratulations to Indiana, congratulations, but the University of Miami had a fabulous season, a fabulous game. It was very close. So that's what I have to say to y'all. Okay, so, but in all seriousness, well, that was serious, but also the city manager contract. He is up for his annual, what I will call a bonus. We pushed it to this meeting from the last meeting so that you all could have more time to think. Also, I think it was because the last meeting was very long. So he is entitled to up to 4% based on merit and retention. And what say you?
Councilman Braden?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that give it 3%.
All right, I have a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion for 3.
Jim, you make substitute motion.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to make substitute motion that we do 4%.
I have 3, do I hear 4? Do I hear 5? Do I have 5 and 6? That's 6.5. Okay, I tried.
There's provision for an exemption.
All right, in serious, we got the motion and second from the original. I got a substitute motion for 4. Do I hear a second for the 4?
I'll second that.
Okay, and then with that, Councilman Bagby, do you have anything discussion-wise?
Yeah, I like this methodology, and we talk about this every time we talk about the staff raises in the budget and stuff, because this doesn't roll into his salary. So it doesn't increase his salary by 7%, which next year gets increased by 7%, which this is a one-time shot. And this is 4% is, I think, $10,000 or somewhere around there. If you don't think that he hasn't earned a $10,000 appreciation, I don't know where we've been for the last year, because even though we talk a lot and we run a lot, the staff he's recruited a team, he's built a team, he's trained a team. Everything that we ask a city manager to do, he's done, I think, in an exemplary fashion, because that's what we ask the city manager to do. Not, did planning department not approve, somebody for money? It is, did he recruit? Retain is an important part, and he has retained, our best people and recruited some of our best people in the last year. And I just think he's earned 4%. I'll be honest with you, I don't like going the max, but in this case, I think it's deserved.
Hey, if I made the motion, To give city manager a bonus?
Yeah.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
True statement.
That's fair. The board got cleared, so I just wanted to double check. Everyone good? Any discussions? Yeah, I don't know who cleared it, so yeah, go ahead, Councilman Destin.
He said
Are you good?
He said he's good.
Okay, you're good? Okay, you don't want to talk. Okay.
If I may, before you vote,
Oh, yeah. Just go ahead. Yeah, it got cleared.
you have to lean forward and touch your mic.
Yes. Well, it said I was number 2, so. Never believe everything you read, right?
Ray's over there magically clearing.
We voted for a cost of living for all employees, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And how much was that?
2.67%.
2
2.67.
2.67.
Okay, so this would be in addition to that 2.67, is that correct?
No.
That-
That's the beauty of,
This is a
If,
one-time
and
10 grand.
if that is the case, then I can vote for it. But if we were gonna get up almost to 7, or, that was gonna be too much.
$10,000, boom, done, close the code, that's it. Okay?
All right.
There we go.
All right. Any other discussions, just for the sake of that board getting cleared? All right, seeing none, we'll call the vote. Yep. All right, maxed them out unanimously.
Thank you, council. I want to tell you, it's a pleasure coming to work every day. I appreciate you allowing me this opportunity. We got a great staff. They make this job considerably easier than it could be. But I appreciate your support and look forward to another productive year. Anything we can ever do, don't hesitate to reach out.
If you would have said how easy it was before I voted, I would have went back to the 3%.
I was just going to tell you, Larry, I honestly have been extremely pleased. You've done some great work, and there's been some things you and I have talked about. And then when you'll call me like a couple weeks later and say, man, what? I got that. And I was like, I'm so happy, thank you. So your team that you've got, I'm very pleased with what you've taken care of. So thank you. Thank you for being our manager, and keep doing it. Keep our staff happy. Do whatever they need to keep them happy, because we don't want to have any more turnovers. We like what we got going on, right? Y'all, everybody knows what they got to do. Thanks.
All right. All right, with that, public comments. Made it to the end. Got anything? One and only.
come on.
How many we got online?
0.
24. All right, that's not too shabby. Yeah, well,
Those are mine watching me.
okay. All right, with nothing else, she's gotten rid of my oyster shell, so I'm back to my dais gavel here. So with that, city council meeting adjourned.
Bye.